This conference will now be recorded.
So we have like some events at work this week. So even trying to prepare for all of those things. So yeah, it's kind of yeah. I wanted to ask if we could, like end the class today, like 30 minutes before, because I have some to do, but I couldn't get them done in time. But I have to do them today. So if you could just end 30 minutes earlier, if that's
Okay,
okay.
and that's okay. Okay, that's fine, but just update them that you have something and you want to leave 30 minutes earlier, right?
Yeah, sure. I'll mention it in the group as well.
Mhm. And I will do, you did Gateway last week, right?
Correct. Yes.
So let's try and do authentication lab today,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Because that's also a very, a crucial part.
Mhm.
But do you have any questions so far?
No, so far nothing as such on my mind.
Okay. And you know that our last class will be on the 28th.
Correct.
Okay. So I'll just go to and give you that authentication lab. We'll do authentication and authorization. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Hold on. Let me ask them to make me a presenter. Hi, Arun. If you're there, or Nitin, can you please make me the presenter? Okay, so I will share now. Give you the lab. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll make you the presenter.
Okay.
I mean, I'll give you the control.
Right.
Now you have the control.
Let me just get the call.
Yes. Okay, you have the lab now, Bashrat, ready.
So I will be starting with this is the authentication and
Yeah,
authorization.
authentication and authorization. You able to control?
I have the control. So this will retain my previous activity, or I have to start the lab from
No,
again.
no. This will have your gateway activity already configured.
No, even for the authentication and authorization, I believe the first part I completed.
No, no.
The,
This is not retaining. This was ended.
okay, okay,
You're gonna start again.
all right.
You see, with this kind of labs,
Mm-hmm.
the it's timed. So the moment it goes out of the time, it
Okay,
resets.
okay.
Just give me 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can continue. I keep getting you switch your microphone to iPhone. I don't know why.
Why is this not proceeding? Do I have to add server inside the box or?
No, give the name. And then in the expression, it should be ns something true or ns underscore true, one of them, and then create. Okay, please check the value. Okay, authentication. So, okay, that's okay.
I think here this step something is missing here in the guide. I
Which
remember it
one?
when I come to the policies, where to
Yes.
add. I think this step is missing. I remember you mentioned something.
No, it's not missing. Let me see. Where are you exactly?
I'm in step 5, I believe.
Wait, hold on. Let me open that. Yeah, man, where is it? It's CNS, right? 27. You are on which step here? Show me. On the.
On radius, configure radius authentication.
So you've done that, and then you're gonna click on the
I click on policies, then
policy
addition.
and add. This is you've already done, nah? See here. You've already been into the policies, right?
We went to policies authentication. We did it under radius. So that was the fourth step we did.
Yeah, you see, you went into the Citrix Gateway Policies Authentication Radius servers at the policy, right? And
Correct.
then it says click on the policy tab where you have added the server and you said ns underscore true. You have already done this.
Okay.
You went here, if you remember. This is the policy tab.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Gateway virtual servers. how would I know here which one is the problem? Because it's both the password and the
Yeah, so one of them is either your password. The first password is your radius password,
correct.
and the second one is your LDAP password. So just click down because you have not applied the policy yet. No, go back to the ADC.
Okay, okay.
Scroll down, down, and say done. Now you can save it. Now your policy is applied. So now go back to the external client and try login. What password did you put in?
I put Citrix 456 for the radius, but the Citrix 123 I didn't put anywhere. I didn't see anywhere here.
No, you hold on. This is gonna be Citrix 456, right?
Yes, with capital C. Yeah.
And for the LDAP, you're gonna unbind radius, unbind capital. Okay, that's fine. We go to the virtual server, right?
So,
Something not right. Hold on, let me see something. It's not configured properly. See this one, 192.168. Your IP is wrong.
ah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Just hold on, let me just minimize this. Yeah, now you can continue.
in, and then I'll do the ping test from this first, right?
Sorry.
The ping test.
Yeah, you can do the ping. You should not work. Start the network access first.
Network access.
You didn't. You're skipping steps. I can see that.
Click network access to connect. Okay.
You're writing ping twice. Okay, that's fine. See if you can run that RDP. Just minimize this. You close it. Minimize the browser. See if you can run that RDP. Which step are you doing? Just hold on.
Um,
You have unbinded, right?
yes.
You start
Unbinded.
factor and you have done AAA. You logged in as a IT admin. You have done the IT. Did you create the groups
Yes.
and you
This is
binded the policies?
we created the groups, but I don't remember binding it with anything. So
Yeah, so you're gonna create the authorization policy first.
yeah, we are before the authorization policies.
Yeah, because you're gonna create the groups and everything. Okay, HR, IT admin, and contractors.
Yeah, that is done.
Yeah, and then you're gonna go to the gateway policy sessions. You're supposed to be here, gateway, and then you're already on the policy sessions, right? You have
This
edited
session.
security, and this is gonna be denied, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so you have done that, and when you test it, you will not be able to log on, right?
No contractor will log on.
No. Mm. Ping will fail. What this will also fail. What is gonna be allowed for you is this page, the blue page should come up. Something not right.
So it says we are able to log in here, and network access also connects.
Yeah, and this will also fail because we have denied everything, right?
Correct.
Okay. So
So
now, yeah,
and these
now,
both of these things fail.
yeah. So you're gonna go to the policy for authorization and allow all and create all those policies. I thought you had done the. Sorry, I thought you had done the policy sessions and everything. Just give me one sec.
Uh,
Okay, now you can do it.
So this part here, the policy, the expression is true, but one of them we are allowing, the other one is denied.
Yes. The expression true means the policy is active
Okay.
or enabled.
Yeah, but so it's one of them is like allow everyone, and the other is deny everyone.
Yes. Allow all, not everyone, allow all. The all means you're gonna go back to the backend server and everything. You're gonna put, if you see on your deny and everything, you will see you're gonna put the IP address to the backend servers, right?
Right. This is again difficult.
What happened?
This whole I cannot copy paste this thing.
You won't be able to copy paste it. Capital, please. Capital, huh?
I I have the caps lock on. I don't know why the first one.
Okay, let me type it for you.
Yes, please.
Just leave it, please.
Yeah.
Client.ip.this.in subnet. This is your 192.168.30.0/24. Okay, and then client.tcp. Okay, dot dist port dot equals IP port equals IP double. There's no port, right? Yeah, and I'll say 80 with two pipelines. Client dot TCP dot dest port dot equals 443 and close the bracket, and I'll create. Okay, now you can hold on. Now you should be able to go through. You can take over.
Okay. So this is creator DBA backend. There's no issue with the name, but here D backend. Okay.
That's just a name. That's just a name. I'm not worried about the name.
Okay. So this thing here about priority, we are changing it for 10. And what you
Yeah,
told
that, That means it's gonna be allowed first.
Okay.
The 10 minutes, the order in which your priority gets applied.
Okay.
So you got 100, 90, 100, so 10, 90, 100.
So we're only doing IT admins as allow all and contractors as allow backend.
Yes. Try again. Why is it not connecting for you? Hold on. You don't log out the other sessions or what?
I logged off from the browser.
Because this once you log in AAA groups, allow all 10 contractors. Did you save it as well? Or is the machine just not on? Let me just check something. Yeah, we've got all this running.
Mhm.
One, two, radius external client. So why are you not able to log in? And you're doing exercise 3.3, right? Yeah, hold on. That's what you're doing.
Testing the authorization policy. This is,
Right. Hold on.
yeah, 3.3. So we are on page 35.
Let me just check something here. Citrix Gateway Policy Sessions, Session Profiles, Edit, Client Experience, Split Tunnel is on. Okay. You're saying page 35, right?
Yes.
RD admins authorize and no author allow all. Okay, done. Test it. Okay, desktop the okay, which is working fine, but why is it not able to? Because if I open WebBlue, that should be also working fine. Not a privileged user. I am a privileged user. Okay, I'll just log off. I shouldn't. This is allowing me. Okay, and I'll try with the Firefox and see. Otherwise, you're gonna skip this test and then go to SAML. I don't know if SAML will work or not, but we can try it. Because I'll have to see what the problem is on this one then. Because it worked perfectly fine when I did the demo. I don't know why this is not allowing me. Okay, I'll have to troubleshoot this later. All right, and if you Just leave this testing and see with the SAML now. Okay, just go to the exercise 3.4.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have to see what's happening. But please be very careful when you read and do the configuration, please.
Okay. Relying party trust that we were configuring for applications.
Right.
These were
ADFS is totally different. The whole concept is totally different. It is basically trusting. ADFS means is trusting one domain and another domain.
okay.
Okay, in which you can integrate SAML for the authentication. ADFS is like, government of India trusting government or having a deal or an agreement with the government of Saudi, right?
Okay.
That is because of the trust and that relationship we get the visa. Otherwise, we don't, right? So ADFS is like trust domain abc.com is going to trust domain def.com. So once you create the trust relationship, then you can decide on the authentication method. Are we
Okay.
together?
Yeah, but then we are also, going on to configure the relying party trust. This
That is
is,
ADFS.
sorry, that is
That is in the ADFS.
in the ADFS.
Yes.
So,
You're trusting the partner and the relying party.
right.
Yeah.
But that seems to be having like different protocols. I'm not sure if this is protocols
Yeah,
or
it will because it is totally different. That is now from Active Directory. It's nothing to do with SAML. Okay. Active Directory, I'm having two servers, and I'm creating a trust between the two servers. One will be the partner, and one will be the relying party.
right.
So I am trusting my server from ABC to DEF. So my partner would be ABC, and the relying party that I'm going to trust is DEF. And when you come to DEF, DEF is your partner, and the relying party would be ABC.
Okay.
And once you create that trust, then you create a authentication method that you want to use.
All right. So I looked around for it to to clear these concepts basically, but I'm unable to find something.
You'll find it on the Microsoft because ADFS belongs to Microsoft.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's. I've been going through Microsoft documents only, all the time. So, but after going through also, I mean, if I'm still under confusion, then I feel like I need to maybe
Now
refer.
tell me, do you understand domains?
Yes.
Totally, you understand domains.
Right.
Okay. You understand DNS and everything.
Okay. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. Then ADFS should be easy. So if I let me just take control, right?
Okay.
Just go and study on this one. I don't know if you're gonna have a thing with this, otherwise just go and study this one. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I've looked at these. So I mean, it speaks, gives an overview about how you can federate with a different domain, build a trust, and it allows you to authenticate between two different domains as uh, what they call one as a service provider and the other as
Right.
the publisher. There are some terms, I believe. So
So where are you getting confused?
I'm confused in terms of when I mean sticking with the same domain and trying to configure your applications to authenticate with it with the single sign-on. Then there are things about sample, OAuth, OpenID. Uh,
That is authentication.
yes.
Yeah. So if you're gonna configure your application to authenticate with single sign-on, I'm not going to go and use ADFS. I will just use SAML. But if my application is on a different domain, then yes, I'll have to use ADFS.
Okay. How is that different? I mean, because from a configuration perspective, it looks the same to me.
No, it doesn't. It's totally different. It doesn't look the same.
No, like see, even our existing setup, like we integrated our ADFS with some solutions in the cloud party, and once we integrate it, our users are able to log into it to that
You
portal.
have integrated ADFS to trust the cloud. Then you integrated authentication with the ADFS. They're
Yeah,
two different things. You're mixing the two different things together.
but
First,
we
you
are
have created ADFS, then you implemented authentication for the ADFS.
yeah, but from an admin perspective, I am doing the same thing. I exchange the metadata certificate of our ADFS with the application owner or the service owner and the vendor, and they share their uh, metadata,
And
and
the
I
certificate, yes, they have to.
yeah, and I simply go on to create a Reliant Party Trust from my end,
Right.
which consists of if they have the certificate, it includes the certificate. If not, it's usually just the identifier, the endpoints that show up in the configuration, and then what remains is the
Yeah, so
claims.
it's not the same what you're thinking if having the SAML is totally different, Bashrat. The ADFS setup is totally different to SAML.
No, I mean this process, what we are doing.
No,
What would you call it? This is SAML or ADFS?
this is
Through
SAML. I'm configuring the SAML. I'm configuring the ADC as my identity provider.
okay,
And then we are going to configure the SAML as my service provider.
okay,
See, my SAML is not trusting the domain. I'm just providing you for the single sign-on. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah. ADF is giving you a full trust between two different domains. It is not a service provider. But with the SAML, I can use SAML to authenticate with I can use the ADFS and use SAML together for authentication.
okay. If you're speaking in this term, yeah, I get it. Then you're talking about if we go on to build a trust between two domains. It's a different configuration, and then the resources can be accessed from this domain or the other domain. It will
Right.
work that way. But the SAML part of it, let's say we are doing this SAML part. So when the applications are changing, sometimes it's the intranet application, sometimes it's on the same domain, sometimes it's on a different domain, still on the local to the network and published in our data center, but maybe a different domain.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's totally in the cloud, some application in the cloud. So uh, my point is like how, see, being on the network, I understand it's on the network, it's the same domain, but when it's on the network and it's not on the domain, it still works, but the single sign-on user experience is slightly not the same, I believe. uh, and then with the cloud as well
Yes, is the same.
is the
Single
same.
sign-on process is the same.
Okay, there are two things about this. One thing is, I mean, generally, if I make it in simple terms, my idea was that uh, once we are exchanging the metadata URLs. So we are
Mm.
getting all the informations about the application or the other side, other party, whether it is an application on premise or a different domain on the network or in the cloud, whatever. We get their required URLs and their certificate and the things, and it's creating a configuration about where the traffic and how it will redirect and all. And when we are sharing our things with them and when they add it to their side, it's the same thing, and then it starts to redirect.
How is it the same thing? I'm trying to get to that. How is it the same thing?
uh, I mean, we are sharing the data, right? I'm sharing my ADFS or IDP information, which the application owners, they will add those URLs for the endpoints or the identifier or the certificate or all the inclusive. I'm speaking like generally of all those configuration related items combined.
Okay.
They will add those things on their side, and when they share their details, when we add it on our side, so the configuration will be intact or in place. So as I understand, the way it works is once we are hitting their specific URL for login, that URL will redirect to the ADFS page, and then ADFS, based on the claims or the parameters that are passed in the background with the configuration, it will look up the traffic and try to pass those claims to get the user authenticated and then redirect back to the application URL. So there's a redirecting happening over there, right?
Okay, let me show you something. I think
Okay.
you're totally confused with SAML and ADFS, honestly.
No, it's more about SAML, I think. I mean,
No, 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 no. You're combining the two together while they are two different things.
okay,
I'm just trying to see where my I'm just trying to see my old notes where I have, if I've created it somewhere. Okay, not there. This is, see, let me just show you here because I'm not able to find my one note for that.
okay,
See, this is your ADFL with SAML, okay? Yes. Net killer. So we're gonna be, I have that. So this is where you add your relying party, right?
Uh-huh. Correct.
Okay, where you have the claims, right?
Yeah.
Where you give me the samuel.cloud.com, the SAML metadata, right?
Right.
You have given me that, right? Which one you want to use, the cloud production or something, okay? Where you have given me the permission on the policies, right? Okay,
Correct.
okay, and then you're adding a trust between the two because you need to trust the issuing party and receiving party, right?
Right.
And that is where you're gonna basically create all these LDAP mapping and everything that you have done with the Citrix. Okay, this is the
Uh-huh.
Citrix cloud. I'm just mapping it to the Citrix cloud. This is one of them, right? If you
Yeah.
use, but if you use ADFS with ADFS SAML with Azure, right?
Okay.
Okay, let's see if I have the image for this. This is how it's gonna be with Azure. Okay, if what you're thinking, because you build your resources on Azure, right?
Mhm.
This is the whole concept of it. Mm. Where it is an extranet, right? Where you have access to your intranet, you have configured your ADFS on the Active Directory, right? And you have created a federal trust with your Azure cloud where you have all your application hosted from the Azure, right? All given from Azure, okay?
Okay.
And internally you probably have your web application proxies. So anyone coming from extranet is hitting the proxy, but internally you're getting connected to your Active Directory, right? Okay, or
Right.
your ADFS for the token, and then you're going out to the Azure because if I'm going to access the resources, it's going to ask me to give the token. So then it is sending you for the sign in. ADFS will sign in, then it is going to exchange the token with your Azure, send it to the user, and then user gets access to their resources. This is how your ADF is configured. But this is the one, this is the part of ADFS which is the Federation Trust. So now I'm configuring SAML with ADFS. So the ADF is now working as my IDP and my service provider, okay?
Okay.
But I don't have to do that. So ADFS thing is just to give you a trust between the two domains, okay? What I've done is I've just implemented SAML inside the ADFS. I can take away the SAML from the ADFS and put a NetScaler here, right? Netscaler will do the SAML. Netscaler will go to the ADFS and get me all the tokens, and then Netscaler will pass it on to the cloud.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yeah.
So if I have to show you this one here, so what you are going to do basically, where is my OneNote? Where is SAML, this one. So this is what you're gonna do. My ADC is acting like a SAML, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now your resource provider can be Azure. So you can now you can what you can do is you can add an Active Directory here where the SAM my ADC will go to the Active Directory for the ADFS and get all the certificates and the tokens and then pass it on to the user and to the another domain. So that is how you guys have configured it. I used to have a good notes on that. I've lost it somewhere, but I will find out and explain to you once I get it. So that is how your ADFS is. So don't get confused with ADFS and SAML. I can use ADFS and inside ADFS, or I can configure ADFS as a SAML.
Okay.
or I can use my ADC as the SAML and pass it on to the ADFS, which is on the Active Directory.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So I will show you the. I will look for that notes of mine. Then I'll show it to you as well. Then because I've done the Azure and the SAML.
Okay. Okay.
Give me 1 minute, and I will just yeah. Now you can continue.
Okay. Is this not clicking or?
Sorry.
No, no, it's working. I was clicking, it wasn't going through. So. Policies. So I don't see this one. Did I miss something? Why the action is not appearing here? Okay, let me go back.
Did you clear the action first?
Yeah, let me go back
Hold
again.
on. Hold on. You went to the application traffic, right?
Yeah, this is, I'm in the
Yeah.
policies.
IP address. You have added the IP address, right?
IP address.
10.108, right? And is okay, right? And
Yeah.
you're binding the certificate, and then you're gonna go to the policy, right, sir?
Uh-huh.
And under the policy, you will you're gonna bind that elder policy. You binded the elder policy, am I right?
No authentication policy. Yeah, I believe yes. Yes, are we
You're gonna go under the elder policy, right?
upheld that policy?
This is the one that you're gonna bind. Okay, it's already binded there, all right. Okay, and then you're gonna go to authentication advanced.
Policies.
You're gonna go to AAA. You're gonna go to the policies, advanced policies. You're gonna click on the policy, authentication, advanced policy,
SAML IDP.
advanced policy, SAML ID, IDP, and you're gonna go to profiles and add a profile.
Ah, it's profile. Okay. I was
Yes.
looking under policies. That's why.
No.
Yeah. Okay. SAML IDP.
You're not typing.
Where is this?
Just give me one sec, please.
Okay.
Okay, now you can continue. I keep getting this, to switch the microphone to iPhone.
Uh,
I don't know if you get that also.
yeah, it happens with me for the earpods. I don't know why it keeps shifting between my Mac and iPhone.
I
Here,
don't. Even now, I get that message, then I have to say no.
okay.
But I don't face these issues on Teams or anything.
Uh-huh. So I'm not seeing the SAML here as showing
Okay.
up. Do I need
Open,
to
open the
on the
summon site. Open the site.
open the site first? Okay.
You're not typing. Type here. Type now. Wait. You have to log in.
Cool.
There you go. You get the IDP. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
You're getting the IDP. That is your SAML.
Okay.
Okay. That is the SAML now. That's SAML working. All right. Are we good?
No, no, this is not clear to me.
Hold on.
You mean it's redirecting there?
Yeah, IDP is redirecting you. Hold on. Let me just show you. So once you add and you why you not getting a login page here?
Maybe because I think there is a connection. We need to log off.
Because you're not saying done, or every time you configure something, you're not saying done.
Okay, yes, that has. And I think even the external client is connected, maybe to another user.
I'll just log him off. Don't worry. So we're gonna go to more tools. Where is more tools here? Then you're gonna go to your developer tools, right? This is just to show you the connection only, right?
Mhm. Another big one. Plus.
See, this is now telling you that you're getting connected to IDP, and this is the whole connection things that are happening, right? So from here, we need to click on SAML. There's only your, this is only your SAML now, right? This is what you're showing you that these are all the queries that are done by SAML here.
Okay.
Okay, these are all the SAML queries that are being done. All right. So once you log in, there you see gateway.workspacelab.com, and this is this is to get your SAML right here. If you click on the network, once it's that is for you as a developer that you're going to be seeing where you're getting connected to, right? This is your SAML. So this is your mixed content, right, sir?
Hmm.
All right. So this is it will keep telling you what you are accessing through your SAML gateway, SAML authentication.
Okay.
So these are your requested URL headers. You can just check right here, and if there's any kind of response.
So for like learning troubleshooting skills for the SAML configuration, like I
Hmm.
don't seem to find a proper website or documentation which would tell me what things I need to look at. I mean, what could possibly be the root cause for.
Now you see that you're gonna go into the logs. You're gonna go into the authentic the Netscaler log if you're using the Netscaler for your authentication even including the SAML. So you go into the logs and see. You look at the AAA logs, authentication logs. That will tell you what the problem is.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're gonna go with the Active Directory and SAML, then you're gonna go into the Active Directory logs.
Yeah, the problem with I don't know, like Active Directories, there are always logs getting generated inside the event viewer, even though everything is working fine.
Yes.
So
So because there are multiple services running on Active Directory, Active Directory is not running one service.
correct. Yes.
So that's why you're gonna get the logs.
True.
Okay. So if you that is why we push the authentication to the ADC, whether you have active ADFS on Active Directory or not. We push this authentication on the ADC so we can check on the authentication logs.
Okay.
So this was your SAML, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the end of this lab where you have done the SAML, where you have made your gateway to be a identity provider as well as service provider, right?
As per the lab guide, it says the output from SAML tracer, and it's showing the credentials that were used.
I'm just trying to get to that. I'm not seeing it. I know
Mhm.
credentials that were used is this post HTTPS. You see, it's showing you the SAML right here, right? So this is one thing I see: cache control, set programs. Cookies that were used, it won't show you the credentials. Why will it show you the credentials?
No, at least the user.
No, why should it show you the user?
I think I've seen it. When we troubleshoot, so
See, when
suppose
you shoot, I think you're seeing it in the logs.
correct.
You won't see it here. This is
No, no, in the browser itself, here in this camel tracer or in these developer tools. I mean,
then that means your network is not even secure if you're letting me see that.
okay.
Because if I'm a developer, if I know this trick, I can just go and try and log in and see.
No, no, not the whole credential, just the user ID. I mean,
No, I don't think you would see it. Just go check on you in your environment. You should not see it.
okay.
It will just tell you that what is your logon point, terminal machine index, this and which is this one actually,
Hmm.
which I'm seeing it right here, samuel.cgi auth. Uh, and this is the once you log in, you get the IDP one. You will only see what all your SAML is doing, what all the headers are in your SAML. That's all you will be seeing here. Program no cache, set cookies, and all that. Other than that, uh, nothing else you'll be able to see. You
Hmm.
got your certificate and everything, right? This is your cookies and all. That's all you will see, nothing else.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll end this. You wanna take a 15 minutes break?
Yeah, sure. So next is client connections.
Yeah, and then we'll stop on that one. That
Okay.
should take us at least an hour.
All right.
Okay. Hi, Bashrat, are you back?
Yes.
Okay. We will do this manage client connections, right?
Yeah.
where we're gonna use do for VPN sessions, VPN client-less access, and bookmarks, client configuration cleanup, EPA scan, and pre-authentication policies, right?
So this would include, like, for example, Outlook connections. Would that be inclusive?
No, no, just client-less access.
Okay. So
So
when it comes to Outlook, like, how are those connections managed?
you're gonna specify your policies for OVAs separately, and you're gonna give the URL for the OVA.
Okay.
Yeah. So the same way that you've been creating the session policies and policies, right? You're gonna be creating policies for your OVA as well in your environment.
Okay.
You're gonna create a policy for Exchange, then you're gonna create a policy for OVA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the issues we used to face was, not
Mhm.
sure what was the reason behind it, but sometimes the team would used to say that, one of your Exchange server is not responding, or the we are observing TCP resets coming from the server.
Right.
uh, in the end, the users, their Outlook behavior would be like connecting, it stays either on connecting or disconnected. So different uh, things we used to observe. But even if we went on to fail over the databases on the Exchange node,
Mhm.
uh, we would see that the end user still, it doesn't change, and it still appears like connecting. So the guys used to say this is
Is
like
that going through the ADC or you going directly?
through the load balancer.
Then look at your active sync servers.
Okay.
That could be giving you a problem.
Mhm. No, but our case, the issue was, they used to keep telling us that it is from the servers. We are seeing the TCP reset. We would end up restarting all the servers and everything.
Yeah, because probably your active sync is sending some kind of data or some kind of traffic every time to the server. So the connectivity is getting lost and reconnecting. That could be a possibility from the active sync. And
Okay.
I've seen that problem because what used to happen was one of the client that I was dealing with, they had exchange online, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes it's working, and all of a sudden it will just freeze.
Okay.
And that used to happen because the active sync on the load balancer used to lose the connection to the cloud.
Okay.
So that could be a possibility that it's having an issue with the communication with the server in the backend, or there is a problem with your network
Okay.
to that particular server, right?
Uh-huh. Now, in our case, sometimes we came across this situation like even restarting all the servers didn't help.
Mhm.
Eventually, they would have to restart or reboot the load balancer itself.
Right.
So,
That is because of those active sync services or the servers in the backend. So it
okay.
is losing the connectivity and then it is freezing the sessions.
Uh-huh.
So when you reboot the server, then you reboot the load balancer, it refreshes the session.
Correct. Okay.
All right. So we'll look at managing client. Okay, we're gonna configure the gateway plugin to establish the VPN, configure the access level, and which applications users are allowed to access in the secure network. I'm going to configure pre-authentication policies and profiles to check the client-side security before the end user is authenticated, right?
Okay.
This is your compliance. Deployment of your gateway to allow end user connections, including a logon options, and how the endpoint analysis is used to verify the endpoint user device meets the requirement of your organization before we allow it to connect to the network, right?
Okay.
So client connections that we're gonna do: receiver for web, plugin for Windows, plugin for Mac OS, plugin for Linux, Java, client Android, Apple iOS devices, clientless access, RDP proxy, and outbound ICA proxy, right?
Okay.
Okay. And our Citrix ADC, also supports Citrix endpoint management. This is for your mobile device management, right?
Mm.
Okay. So whenever you're using that gateway plugin to create your VPN, basic, sorry.
No, sorry, it's the children.
Okay. So it is going to have the user to can authenticate on using the gateway or directly from the plugin. So the workspace of the Citrix will use the micro VPN to establish the secure tunnel for your iOS and Android mobile device. So remember, I said every device will have its own micro VPN connected, your Android devices and your iOS device. They'll create a micro VPN connection to the ADC, right? Okay, where the gateway will intercept every network connection that the user device makes, and it is going to multiplex it over the secure network or SSL or TLS. So once you are connected to the gateway, the plugin will basically it will tell the plugin which private network are accessible through the secure connection. So it can support any one of these over your secure channels. Okay. The gateway will proxy the data to the backend, and once that is established, there is a secure tunnel that will remain open until the user logs off or there is a timeout. Then you got your secure tunnel, right?
Okay.
Okay. You got the secure tunnel termination, where the gateway is receiving or securing the traffic between the endpoint device and your network. All right. That is how what we discussed on the first day. From the client to the ADC, ADC stops it here, and then ADC sends it to the backend server, right?
Right.
Okay. So then it is creating a tunnel, and the tunnel endpoint is the gateway, and then the traffic is proxied to the backend server. So what we are doing is the ADC is actually proxying the traffic to the backend server. This is no longer in use, MIP.
Okay.
Okay. Then this is your firewall and the proxy. All right. Remember, I've been talking about that your ADC can be behind in the DMZ or can be behind another firewall, right?
Right.
So you can have it set like that. So you can give me two firewalls, and the ADC can sit in between the two firewalls. Normally, we'll call it a DMZ or your perimeter network, right?
Right.
Okay. So the ADC, the client will hit the first firewall, then the firewall will take it to the ADC. ADC will hit on to the second, where your user authentication, traffic and authentication happens, and then only it will go to the backend server. So you can decide that you can have Fortinet F5 Palo Alto in front or behind, or you're gonna have it in. You can have the ADC in between those other vendor firewalls, right?
Right.
So this is your gateway plugin support that you can download. All right, you can download the Citrix Gateway plugin when you try to connect to the VPN. We already did that in the previous slide, if you remember, right? That you downloaded it and you installed it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is called a EPA plugin, or you can just download it and install it on your client's devices. All right, so you can use this method to deploy your gateway plugin, and you can extract the installation program also, or you can use a group policy to deploy the program. The one that we did was a NetScaler plugin. This is your endpoint analysis plugin, EPA, right?
Okay.
The one that we did for the installation was your gateway plugin, Citrix NetScaler gateway plugin. And the one that I'm talking about here is the EPA, which is your endpoint analysis plugin. that you can push it through the Active Directory policies, or you can use SCCM to push it to the client, right?
Okay.
Okay. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like your EPA, and then you can download that, and automatically it will create rules in the Windows firewall to allow.
Okay.
All right. So it will add the exceptions by default. If not, you can allow it depending on how your network is configured.
Yeah.
And this is your gateway plugin integration with the Citrix workspace, right? So you can use a plugin that is already installed, and end users will select an option to log on to the gateway using the workspace. So once you are logged in and the login has is successful, that means there is a single sign-on that is going to pass the credentials through the workspace. All right, and it will present the user with the applications, like how you access your workspace app, right?
Right.
So there is no longer re-authentication and all. And this way, this is how you can troubleshoot the plugin. Normally it's an installation, so you can just add and remove, and then reboot the machines, restart it, and then install the program again. Excuse me. All right, so this basically allows the gateway plugin to log information to your Citrix secure access client. This is where you're going to get all the logs of the plugin,
Mhm.
right, sir?
Yeah.
If your gateway plugin, Citrix gateway cannot, is not able to reinstall, then just download the cleanup tool,
Okay.
Citrix Access Gateway Cleanup tool. Run that as an administrator, and that tool will remove all the drivers and the plugins. So you can download the Citrix Gateway plugin tool, okay, and then you in Citrix Access Gateway plugin tool, cleanup tool, not plugin, cleanup tool, and you can run it as an admin, and it will remove everything, right? So we again, you're going to be working with sessions and policies. You know, you've been working with sessions and policies and some regular expressions, right?
Yes.
So these are your session profile that we're going to use Windows and Mac or Java, right? So Gateway plugin can run on different platforms. Everything, it can run on NIX platforms, Linux as well, Unix as well, Windows, Java, right? MacBook, and you can also override the global settings using your session policies. So you can bind the session policies to either a user group or a virtual server, like how we are doing. So if everything else will fail, then the global setting will be applied, right?
Okay.
If you want to configure the plugin globally, you just have to go into the configuration utility on that configuration tab, and go to your navigation pane and then go to the Citrix gateway, and then you can click on global setting, like how you went for the policy bind, right?
Right.
Citrix gateway, and then policy global policy manager, same way, right?
Okay.
And then you can access the client tab, and you see next to that client tab you for the plugin, and with that plugin you can choose Windows, Mac, or Java, or whatever you want to select, right?
Mhm.
So when the user logs in, they will receive the plugin as a defined globally, all right, and that is from your session profile and the policy.
Okay.
Feeling sleepy?
Yeah.
Huh?
No, no, it's okay. Just a
do you
little
want me
tired.
do you
Yeah.
want me to show you the lab or the theory?
No, no, either one is fine. No issues.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Not an
Okay.
issue.
So the policies will determine when to apply a profile, and your profile, which is a collection of settings that define the client connection, right?
Okay.
So you've been going to the session profiles, you've been creating a profile, right? Where you've been adding split tunnels and all that, right, sir?
Yeah.
So that is your profile. So profile has a lot of settings, and then you're gonna bind that profile to a policy, or policy to a profile, right?
Okay.
So policies are going to tell, define the client side attributes and when it should be applied, right?
Right.
Right. So this is your session connection configuration. You can define the domains which the users are allowed. You can configure IP addresses for users, including IP address pools. Configure the timeout, single sign-on, client interception using the intranet application, split tunnel, connection through your proxies, and you can use software as a to connect to the gateway. You remember I created external and internal applications.
External and internal applications.
Intern network underscore internal, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And external. So we're gonna use them in the application part now.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna be here. We're gonna configure all this, that you should be able to go through this network or that network, right?
Mhm.
And remember, this is the one that we created, right?
Yes.
Where I mentioned network underscore internal, network underscore external, right?
Right.
So we're going to give access to one IP address and subnet, or you can give a range, and we're going to map the internet apps that require split tunnel. So if you see, I had been putting we configured split tunnel earlier, right?
Hmm.
You remember that, right? So if you have a proxy that your application is using, you can configure the proxy here.
Okay.
So end user VPN connection might need to use a corporate proxy if you have a proxy server enabled. Or you go to the advanced settings, you click on the proxy and enter your proxy details. Right? So you just go to your session profile, client experience, advanced. Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you don't use a proxy, you don't have to configure it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can specify your timeout, session durations, right? You can have it at user level, group level, or globally. You can set your client side idle time, duration, and you can have it forced. So you can have a session timeout when the session is idle and we time you out, client side timeout. If you see the client side activity and they are not active, you take them out. You close the session for them for that application, right? That is part of your security. And then this is your split tunnel, all right, which we have already configured. Allows your plugin to distinguish between VPN session traffic and other network traffic. You remember you asked me what is split tunnel, right?
Mhm.
2 days back when we configured it.
Yeah.
So client router, if it is destined, I will use the split tunnel, and any other traffic just use normal ADC, right?
Okay.
That is your split tunnel. And without split tunnel, all traffic will go via the ADC on the same network, regardless of the destination. Are we good?
Yeah.
And then this is client cleanup. You know that message that you used to get when I used to log off the VPN connection?
Uh,
When you went on the external client, we used to log off the that plugin, network plugin.
okay.
You
No.
forgot when you when you logged in as an IT admin or contact and you logged off, you
Yeah.
logged from the plugin, and it used to give you a cleaned up window, right?
Yeah, I think yes. Clean up.
So you
Clean up the
you,
configuration.
you can do a force cleanup from here,
Okay.
which doesn't work very well. So
Uh-huh.
I don't even bother about it that much.
Okay.
Right, this is your single sign-on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where the gateway is supporting the single sign-on to make sure the users do not re-authenticate multiple times. So the credentials is passing and can be configured to use either primary or secondary credentials. So you can use a double source authentication default port set to 80 or single sign-on you can enable, like what we did with the SAML, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is your single sign-on with the Windows configuration. So you can have the single sign-on with Windows is enabled. So when the SSO is enabled, then the credentials is used to log on to the Windows machines will be presented to the gateway. We don't recommend this method at all, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because if the users have come up with they have brought their personal machines or laptops, then we don't want to do that
Okay.
because then your network becomes unsecure.
I see.
Only with the corporate desktops or laptops where the laptop stays in the office or so, or you have defined policies on the corporate laptop, right?
Okay.
And this is your single sign-on to your web application, so you can configure the gateway to provide the single sign-on to the servers on your internal network if they're using the web-based authentication, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have the single sign-on, you can redirect the user to a custom home page, maybe
Okay.
to your SharePoint or to your web interface, right?
Okay.
Or you can configure the single sign-on to resources through the gateway plugin, like how we did.
Okay.
Okay. And this is your domain single sign-on. So whenever the user is logging on to the gateway, they're not putting the username, password, or they're not entering their domain.
Random.
So you can specify the single sign-on on the domain in the session profile.
Okay.
So this is, we specify the single domain, if you remember, where I said workspace lab, right?
Workspace lab.
All right. And then this is your client interception. So you have the client interception that is used to define your IP addresses or network that should be intercepted by the gateway plugin. So whenever you have the split tunnel on and your destination address is in the packet within one of the intranet application, then the gateway plugin will send the packet through the VPN tunnel to the gateway, right? But if the destination address is not in the defined intranet application, that means the packet is not encrypted.
Okay.
All right, and the user device then routes the packet appropriately using the default routing that was defined on the client PC. So when you enable the split tunneling, the internet application defines the network traffic that is intercepted and it will send through the tunnel, right?
Okay.
And these are your intranet IPs.
Yeah.
All right. So you can have this for VPN traffic to your SNMP, and you can prevent any outgoing connections for services like your voice over IP, Active FTP, Samba, instant messaging, right? VNC. So these are configured in your virtual server or your intranet IP, and you can have the address pool. All right, we call it as intranet IP addresses, right? And you can use the policy manager, so you can configure it at either your user group or virtual server and global levels, right?
Okay.
So what is this defining intranet IP address pool? What is spillover? What is no spill over? What is off?
No idea.
Read through. See, tell
Yeah,
me if
when
you
you
understand it.
configure address pools and the SNP address is not used, the transfer login page appears for end users. Have used all available.
Okay, so spillover is basically when your address pool that is configured and is mapped with a mapped IP is used as an intranet IP address. And
Okay,
if the mapped IP address is used when the internet IP address cannot be assigned, so that means I will go to another server, right? Or another link, right?
okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
When you have a no spillover, that is when your internet IP addresses are enabled and mapped IP address is not used, then we're going to transfer the login page for the users who have used all available intranet IP address. So whenever you're going to configure the address pool, the SNIP is used as an intranet IP, and SNIP address is used when the internet IP address cannot be used. So if you don't have an internet IP, I will use the SNIP, right? And here, once I've configured the address pool and SNP address is not used, then we are transferring all the login page that is going to appear for the end users who have used all the internet IP address. So that means I'm going to log on, to send another page to those users who have used all the internet IPs, a different login page.
Okay.
And then you can reclaim the IP addresses.
Mhm.
Okay, so when an IP address is assigned to a user, the address is reserved for the user next logon until the address pool is exhausted, right? So when the address pools are exhausted, the gateway can reclaim the IP address from the user who has been logged off from the gateway for the very long time, right? So that is also possible. And then you got the clientless access. So you don't need a VPN plugin to be installed. The gateway will provide authentication, authorization, and a secure access to your resources. So over SharePoint, intranet, RDP. So for this, you'll have to create policies. It sounds very easy that I'll give you a clientless access, but you need to specify the URL and everything, right?
Okay.
Something like this, you're gonna go ahead and enable your uh, clientless access first of all, right? Under client experience.
Okay.
All right. So on is allow only clientless access, off is allow clientless access after user log on with the gateway plugin, right? Or totally disable it.
Okay.
Right, sir?
Yeah.
You had your dinner?
No, not yet.
You wanna go have your dinner?
Yeah, if we can take a 10 minutes break.
I'll give you 20 minutes break.
All right.
Because then I'll see you in 20 minutes, right?
Okay.
Hi, Bashart, are you there?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, great. So we continue, right?
Yeah.
Right, sir. So we got a pre and a post authentication, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Policies that you can use. What does this mean, pre and post authentication?
So I'm guessing it's going to check the rules applied in the policy even before it authenticates.
No, that means you once you authenticated, you'll have access to all the applications that you'll be having pre-authenticated already sessions. All right. So whenever you use endpoint analysis, they execute security checks on the end user device, right? For example, you want the pre-authentication policy to check for semantic or some kind of antivirus. Before I can authenticate you into the network, your laptop, your device should meet my corporate compliance policies, right? Okay. That
Okay.
means your
So it's
laptop will be
meaning like posture, what do we call it? Like the Cisco eyes, like security posture rules or something.
yes. So basically, your laptop should have, let's say I said you should have a Windows Defender, right?
Right.
If the policy doesn't see a Windows Defender, the EPS scan doesn't see that Windows Defender, I will not let you in my network.
Okay.
So this is a pre-authentication policy, and we're going to add the expression, right? So whenever you're going to create a pre-authentication or a session policy, you can create expressions whenever you do this kind of policies, right? The whole procedure is to describe how to add a pre or configured uh, antivirus in your expressions, right? Or certain applications in your expression, right?
Yeah.
So this is just endpoint analysis. So whenever the gateway is going to install the endpoint analysis plugin on the device, the plugin will scan the user device for the security requirements that you have configured on the gateway. That could be that you should be running in maybe a notepad, or should be having a antivirus, or you should be having some kind of browser versions, right?
Okay.
Like just use how you said you have Cisco ICE, right?
Yeah. So basically, we are they call it security posture, I believe. So
Right.
defining rules, and these are the
Different names for different vendors.
correct. Yes.
So the endpoint analysis is required. A plugin needs to be installed. Requires the administrator level access to install it. So you can use it with the Gateway VPN plugin. Okay, on your Windows device, Mac device, and if any of your devices cannot run EPA, then you might need to detect and manage other devices separately. All right.
Okay.
And then you have a expressions, right? And the machines that is going to fail your pre-authentication scan will not be allowed to log on to the network, or you can call back for a fallback with the limited access only, right?
Right.
So your EPI will be used to scan the device during the login step. So within that login step, it will decide on the action whether to block, allow, quarantine, right, based on the result. So this is your pre-authentication that can scan, open up the PC for antivirus, personal firewall processes, services, files, registries, and operating system, browsers, and everything, right?
Okay.
Are we good, sir?
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And then you got your pre-authentication policies. Well, these pre-authentication policies are deprecated from version 12. All right. And you, as what Citrix recommends is you can use an n-factor authentication here. All right, so you can
Okay.
see, yeah.
Yeah.
So this pre-authentication, triple A pre-authentication policies are deprecated, okay? And so triple A ones, right? So just remember, triple A pre-authentication policies are no longer used, okay? You can use now n-factor authentication. Remember we spoke about n-factor, right?
Right.
So now you can use that. That's the alternative for this triple A pre-authentication.
Okay.
Okay. These are your values that you can put in your policies. For Mac OS, you can just say Mac OS. For Windows 10, you say Win 10. For Windows 8, you say Win 8. For 7, Win 7, Vista, Server 2012, Win 2012, Server 2008. So we no longer use 2008 or 12. Now you can go with 16, 19, 22, 25, right?
Yeah.
So the value here now, uh, I think 16 is also out or gonna get out. So you can say 19, you can say 2022, you can say 2025 right here, right? So this is how you can specify it. This is the value you're gonna put in the expressions.
Okay.
And then these are your antivirus, firewall, internet security, or anti-spam expressions for the configuration. You can put in semantics, Sophos, McAfee, Zone Alarm, Trend Micro, or any other. So obviously you need to know the executable file, right?
Yeah.
All right. So whenever you go into your client security, the expression you can type to configure the component of your client security, like your antivirus, firewall, or registry. You need to name the application. Okay. And if you want, you can have a name of the application, the process, the file, the registry entry, or even the OS. And for your qualifier version for the value, it can check on the browser or operator browser versions and all. You can also specify that, right? And these are your file scan configuration that you can scan an end user device to determine what particular file is present on his device. So you can create an expression, all right, for your pre-authentication or session policies.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry, man. He's just playing.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
these are your registry policy configuration. So you can add a value to the expression, and the value can be your software version, the service pack version, right? Anything else that appears in the registry value, you can add it here. But be very careful when you do the registry. You should only do the registry when you know what you're doing with the registries, right? So
Okay.
you can configure the registry policy in your configuration utility, all right, in which is going to be your Citrix gateway policies and then sessions, right?
Okay.
And then you can add your expressions, the name of the policy, match the expressions, add the expressions, right?
Right.
You can say whether it exists or does not exist, okay, or is equal to all that, like how we have said, port destination port it should equal to 80 or 443 and 443, right?
Mhm.
And these are your custom expressions configuration that you can use if you want to, for a particular file, for a particular value of the registry, version of your antivirus, number of days since antivirus was updated, and what processes are running. So you can configure all that right here. And you have the EPA if you want to improve the control of your client access to your network resources. You can have the EPA analysis scan and expand it on all your endpoints by scanning not just the existing of all the applications on the client computers, but also scanning the states and the configuration of those applications. Maybe they are not been updated. They need to be updated, right? You can check with the uh, all that we can have your OpSWAT, okay, which is very popular with your Citrix Access Gateway, because this is the feature that has been integrated with the Citrix. So it will scan for the OpSWAT applications as well, right? Any questions, Bashrat?
Uh, no, I don't think. I think it's a bit complicated stuff, but
Sorry.
I mean, it's more towards like the security and stuff. So
Right. Right. And if you want to troubleshoot the EPA, all right, the client plugin will write logging information to the file on the client and systems, and you can go and access these files from the C drive, document settings, all users application, and then data, and then there's something called AGEE folder. So you can go to documents and settings, all users, application, data. You're going to be seeing Citrix. You will see data. All right. This is your application data actually, app data, and then you will see it under all users. Where you go under documents and settings. This is where the log file is, and you look for the AGGE, and inside that is going to be nsepa.txt. That's the file that you can look for. It writes the logs to this file. NSEPA, NetScaler Endpoint Analysis. And this is your multiple policy logic, all right, where you can use the pre-authentication policies in a logical or mode, and you can have it combined with all the servers, or you can bind it to the different same server. All right. Once your policy is successful, it will allow the user to reach the logon box. If two or more conditions are required and that needs to be met to allow, that is where you're using an AND operation, right? You have a policy and then you say AND in between that expression, and that means it should match this and it should match this, right? Then you need a compound expression. What do you need to consider? All right, you have your pre-authentication that is going to ensure that user device are established, that is establishing a session, confirms that all the security requirements have been met. All right, so you can have your pre-authentication policies, that is having your profile and the expression. So you are going to configure the profile to use an action either to allow or deny a process to execute. All right, if you want for example a text file, maybe you're looking for a file called abc.txt, that should be running on the device before you can allow the user, right?
okay,
And then you can create a session policies for your post authentication scan. That means after your authentication. So if the EPA scan fails, either the user is put in the quarantine group, okay, the policies that are bound to the quarantine group, all right, or if there are no policies bound, then the user can either you then whatever policies, if there's no policy that is directly binded to the user or that is having a lower priority, then those policies will also be binded to the quarantine group. That means whether you have a policy, no policy, or a policy with a lower lower priority, that will also be binded to the quarantine group. So this is your post authentication. The frequency, this is the frequency uh, scans for the post authentication that is going to work with your Citrix gateway. If the user logs on with the Citrix Workspace app, then endpoint analysis scans will run at logon. So you can say that if you see here, this is the client application, antivirus, McAfee Net Shield, version 7. It should run for 5 minutes, right? All right, same thing for McAfee version, 5 minutes. You have a McAfee version 7, frequency 5, and you have a McAfee data version 4 that should also run for 5 minutes. So this is the frequency that you are configuring for your post authentication configuration, right? Scans, because you want it every 5 minutes it should run, right?
Okay.
So these are your specified intervals. For example, you would configure a client security policy and want it to run on the user device every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, they will keep running just to check if there is something they found, right? And this is your end user logon options evaluation. So if the user is skipping the endpoint analysis, then because the user will skip that test, that means it's a failed scan. That means the user will either not be allowed or will only be provided with the limited resources. Any questions, sir?
No.
Okay. And this is the quarantine and authorization group. So you can also configure post authentication policy to put users in a quarantine group if the user device does not meet the requirements of a policy. All right, that could include your client security expressions or a security message, or somebody has shut down the McAfee.
Okay.
Right, so when the users are in the quarantine group, they can log on to the gateway, but they will have limited access to the network resource. So you see, after 5 minutes the scan has started, but then after that they exited the McAfee, and after 5 minutes it starts again. Then it sees there is no McAfee, then it will put the user in the quarantine.
Okay.
And endpoint analysis troubleshooting. Okay, uh, if you have a bring your own device model, endpoint analysis can be difficult to implement because an administrator often cannot define a standard for this kind of device, right? Because for you to troubleshoot your endpoint, the right logging information to a file, check the file, the logs that is written onto the file. All right, look at your operating system versions, all right, and look at your application's properties. Look at if the user has brought in his own device. That is what you can do.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the client connection management, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I have for you for today. And when we see tomorrow, we'll do the labs just to go over what we have done so far and what is remaining. Right, sir. So we have done the basic, the initial setup, getting started, networking, and the VLANs, the hardware platforms, right?
Right.
We have done the high availability, we have done the load balancing, we have done the SSL offload, we have done the integration of LDAP, creating the custom administrators, we have done creating partitions, we have done management, monitoring, troubleshooting, we have looked at the logs, we have created SNMP, syslog servers, configured them, right? Are you there, Bashrat?
Yes.
and we have done the gateway, we have done your app expert policies, right? And we have done the authentication and authorization, that is including the SAML, right?
Okay.
And today I've done the managed client connection, the theory. Tomorrow we'll do the labs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if we have the time, I'll go with the CVAD, all right, integration. And if not tomorrow, then we can do this on Monday, and the labs, and then this we can do on Tuesday, right?
Okay.
Sorry?
Yeah, fine. No
All
big
right,
deal.
Ben, but let me know if you want to go over any other lab also.
Just a second.
Sure.
Okay. Now paper cup. Now, so do it first. Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. I'll let you know about.
Yeah, so right, as you said, you wanted to be left leave early today because of some errands that you have, right?
Yeah.
So you're uh, almost 13 minutes earlier. I'm leaving you.
Yeah. No. Thanks.
All right. Okay.
Okay. See you then tomorrow.
See you. So I'll just put in the message that okay,
Mm-hmm.
we done for the day, and as you wanted to leave early, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Bashat. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.